Blackheart Boulevard,
Yeah.
right?
Second project.
Since it's dropped, total 80 million
80
streams
million,
and
yeah.
views. All independent. How's it feel, man?
Lights down. Tell them that I need all of the lights down. Tomorrow might not come, I need it right now. If you ain't in your lane, you need to get up on my way, cause when I'm coming then it's lights out. Boy, I had to get it on my own. I can feel this in my bones. Boy, you
What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Alright, thanks for inviting me into your home, bro.
Hey, anytime, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm here with YTG Magazine, Ronell Webb. I'm here with BMIKE, rapper,
man.
singer, songwriter. 150 million views on YouTube,
Yes,
100 million streams total, all independent.
Independent, yes, sir.
How's it feel, man? You just dropped a new project, Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever, that's the new project. Feel good, man. You know, it was really well received from my fans, and yeah, I'm just glad to finally have it come out to the world. So,
how you feel about it? Tell me about it. Tell me about Cabin Fever and where did it come about?
What happened was the city I was in got hit with an earthquake, and my apartment building actually got hit real bad. So the city just kind of closed the whole building down, and luckily, you know, we had a bed in the studio, so I went and stayed there. And this was, you know, amidst the first initial lockdown that the world was going through. So I was just like, stayed cooped up in the studio, recording music, and, you know, Cabin Fever, the term just refers to being isolated for so long, and it just felt like that. I just went to work, and in that first kind of 2-3 week period, I just recorded everything. Yeah.
So, take me through it right quick. You locked yourself in the studio. So how does this differ from your first project in 2013, Faith, Hope?
Well, Faith, Hope was just like, you know, every artist goes through like their first initial project of them finding themselves. I feel like I was finding myself, you know. If you look at all my new music, you can clearly see that there's a relationship between all the songs. They kind of, they fit in the same category. They're different branches all from the same tree. Whereas Faith, Hope, I was just everywhere. Like literally, there were songs on there that were just so random. And it was just like, oh, I recorded this, I recorded that, let's just put it on a project. And then, yeah, so I feel like when it comes to even my second project, Blackheart Boulevard and Cabin Fever, the songs, they sound like they're in unison. They're really glued to one another. So I think that's just kind of the initial separation between them, yeah.
Now, I know that you said that you were kind of everywhere on your first project, but you still got songs on there that like resonate with your fans, like your song Dear Dad.
Yeah.
Like, I know fans come up to you and tell you all the time how they resonate with that, and especially the connection that you have with your fans already.
For sure.
So, how did that song come about, the Dear Dad song? And also, what's your relationship now with him?
I mean, for me, I'd actually say that song, where it came from, was also single-handedly one of the main reasons for my success. Because I was just like, I wrote it in high school. I was like an angry teenager, and it just gave me so much drive. So, I mean, at the time, the incident between him and I was very raw. So I was just angry. I was just talking about everything I'd wanted. Because bear in mind, I like idolized this guy my whole life, and you know, and real fans would know the situation, what happened there, and it was just the fuel that just drove me. So when I'm writing these songs, you know, from such a perspective that's so real and so raw, you find that you're actually not alone. There's many people out there that relate to you, and I think that's one of the reasons that I connected with so many fans very early on, fans who are still fans to this day. That song is, you know, nearly 9 years old. So, yeah, I mean, in regards to that, but the situation with him now, nah, we haven't spoken in like over a decade, I think, and I think I don't feel the need to remedy the relationship, but I'm not angry anymore. You know what I mean? as you start getting older, you realize people are just people.
Right.
And what helps me kind of get over the fact of what he did is, what did he have to go through to become that person, you know? Mm-hmm. So all I can do is look at how I'm gonna be a better father for my kids, you know, when I have them one day, because he had a terrible relationship with his dad.
Uh-huh.
So if I stay angry at him, the way he stayed angry with his dad, I'm gonna repeat the same bullshit with my kid, and then he's gonna be mad at me, and then the cycle's gonna continue. So I realized, you know, especially coming into like my 20s, that I gotta fix this shit within me.
Right.
And if I stay mad at him and angry and real just like gutted with everything he did, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna like perpetrate that onto my kid when I have him one day, and I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, as I said, the relationship, it ain't mended or anything, but I'm just not that like angry. And I'm sure if you listen to my music now, there is a lot more of a softer side of me. Mm-hmm. Because as I said, when I wrote that, I was in high school. I was just angry, mad at the world, and just like, I was just so much fire in my belly. And I was just like, you know, I come in with the first line, you know, let's fucking picture it. Shit's about to blast the fan. Yeah. I was barely 8 when mama had to move to Amsterdam. And you approached her as a married man, so leave it up to me. I'll cut your head off like the Taliban in Pakistan. You know what I'm saying? So I still remember writing that shit today. I'm picturing right now. That's why I still remember it. You know what I mean? Like, now I can look back and be like, yeah, it was dope. But back then, I was just mad. Yeah. Mad at the world. Mad at why the shit turned out for me like that. You know, I'd go to my friends' homes and I'd see like a wholesome family. Right. I'm coming from like a very dysfunctional home and just like feeling like I didn't get a fair shake when it came to my life. But as you get older, you realize like life just doesn't happen the way we intend it to, and it's a roller coaster, man. So that's basically
So do you think? I know you said you found out that a lot of people connect and go through the same situation that you're going through. And I know that you helped, you know, your audience, your fan base, your core. But do you think at the same time they've helped you grow? You said you're not mad anymore. You know, I'm seeing all these people that you're helping. Like, does it come down to
it's kind of, it's, I see where you're going. That's a good question, actually. Well, first and foremost, you know, music has always been therapy for me. I don't even want to imagine where I'd be if I didn't have a pen, you know. And I'm so thankful that at a very early age, you know, I was blessed with my outlet. I knew at 8 years old, this is what I want to do. And I meet people today who are kind of lost with what their passion is. And for me, I'm just blessed that I had that, because it was my go-to when times were tough. And, you know, you see kids who are dealt in the same circumstances, you know, they don't have that. And they turn to other forms of outlets. And for me, it was music. Thank God that I had that. And what I will say is that meeting fans, it opens up your eyes. I think I got it bad. I'd put out music where you could just see that I thought I had it like the worst situation. Then you meet people and you're like, yo, my dad ain't do shit to me compared to this person's dad. Like this person's dad needs to be locked up for the rest of his life, like period. Whereas, so that's eye-opening to me, and it's just like, well, you know, I actually do have a lot more to be grateful for than I do to be angry about. And it's kind of like, actually relating to Cabin Fever, I got that song on there, Easy. And I say on there, Cole said it best, no life is better than yours. And man, I'm feeling that shit now more than ever before. $1 million in the bank isn't happiness, believe that. I just wear a mask, man, I hope that y'all can see that. So for me, it's like, I realize as time's going by, yeah, he might have more money than me, but I'm definitely more richer in my happiness and the fulfillment I get, fulfillments that I get out of music or my family. And I can really, really see that, as you get older, that it's everyone out there has a difference to you. And as you know, Cole said, there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. And I really just feel after meeting people and hearing their stories that, definitely opened up my eyes. Definitely 100%.
Your music definitely sounded like some of your earlier music definitely sounded like it came from a dark place.
Yeah.
You know, so that's going to be the next question. Were you in that dark place, and you know how much still lingers?
I mean, it's not necessarily like a dark place in the sense that, you know, I've met kids, like real kids, and they're going through it, you know, with things like their depression and their anxiety, and they got real pain, like real pain. I've seen it in their eyes. For me, I had a very angry upbringing, feeling like, as I said, that I the cards I got dealt. So my dark place was like a very self-imploding circumstance, and you know, thank goodness, as I said, thank goodness I had music, because I could just leave it all on the microphone. And the anger that I had, it hasn't lingered on, but you know, the lessons that I learned going through that has definitely stuck with me to this day. Right. I think that a lot of artists come from a place of isolation, and that isolation, you can either kind of be constructive with it and productive, or it's gonna eat you. And for me, I recognize that I'm alone a lot. You know, I'm someone who just, I need my own space. A lot of the time I just need to be alone with
by choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to be alone with my thoughts and gather myself, because I noticed early on as a kid, I don't think the same as other people, and my mind is I'm like an overthinker. So in saying that, like, yeah, I 100% believe that the music helped me. Thank God I had that outlet, helped me get to where I'm at, and then also helped with my mindset and the lessons I learned. And I'm glad that that's something that stuck with me, because yeah, isolating yourself is not the way to go. Right. So to find a passion that you're gonna use to vent, you know, get it out there, that's definitely something that I strongly affirm when I meet people to implore doing. Yeah.
Right. To vent in some hobbies. So you said that you tend to start overthinking. Yeah. Right. So I know overthinking tend to bring anxiety, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, that's one of your most famous kind of songs. So anxiety. I want to talk on that. Like, you as a black man in today's climate, what's your mental health like today, and how are you dealing with it? What are you doing to make it better?
Well, for me, it's actually kind of funny, because when I wrote that song, it actually came from me meeting someone who was going through it like very heavily, and he's like to me, man, it would be really cool if you wrote a song about this. And I got social anxiety really bad. Okay. Like, people meet me and they're like, oh, you make music and all this, but I'm actually deep down, I'm quite a shy person. Right. Okay. Like, you know, I can be extroverted in certain situations, but I'm like an introverted, extroverted artist, if that makes sense. It sounds like an oxymoron, but so the social anxiety I had, that's where I was writing it from. I realized that my anxiety, for me personally, comes from stress, because I put a lot of pressure on myself. When people think that they can put pressure on me, I don't feel pressure from anybody. Right. Not a single person on this planet, because no one can put more pressure on me than I can. Trust me, I put pressure on myself. Pressure. And I don't necessarily feel it in the time, but after a while, that stress starts becoming like a physical kind of thing on your body, and your body can only take so much. And what I'm very glad about is the fact that as coming from as a member of the black community, we're talking about it more, you know, because that stigma was there for the longest time, where, you know, you be a man, be tough, you know, you don't talk about it. And we were seeing like terrible instances where black men were like committing suicide because they didn't feel like they had a place to go to and talk to.
In society, right?
Yeah, they felt like they didn't have a place, you know, because they were too shameful to kind of hit their dog up like, hey man, what's up? You know, I'm not feeling good. They were afraid to, and as black men ourselves, we should be hitting on our homies, hitting them up like, hey man, how you doing? Everything good? I haven't heard from you in a little while. What's up? You know, I think that's an important thing. But I think the progress we've made, like if you listen to like real music coming out of coming out from the hood these days, it's real pain. Right. You hear artists that are billboarding, like chart-topping songs that come from real pain. You hear the emotion in their voice. Like, they sing melody, but that's just real pain.
Right.
They talk about that. And I'm glad to see that, because that's one more person that is choosing to talk about it. They're venting through their music. And one, they get to feed their family. Right. Two, they're now talking about it. They're creating at least a conversation. The fact that me and you right now are talking about this as black men, we're creating dialogue. Someone at home is watching right now, and we may inspire them to go and talk to someone about it, how they're feeling. So that's how I feel kind of in regards to the mental health. But these days, I'm a whole lot better. I'm really good, because I'm starting to compartmentalize everything and categorize everything, and just in my head knowing where my limits are. Because the problem that I really had was just I'd overwork. Some days I just would be in the studio 17, 18 hours a day. Right. Going home, sleeping 4 hours, back to the studio. And then over time, and then I don't even realize it, you know. I'll be like dating a girl or something, and I'm just taking it out on her, and I don't realize. I think that I'm really mad at her, but she's just like, you don't realize that she's kind of becoming almost your way of venting, and you're just kind of taking it out on her, or anybody for that matter. And then you take a step back, you're like, oh, well, that's actually such a small thing. It's not even that big of a deal. And even everybody close to me. So for me, yeah, I definitely feel like I'm in a great space right now, because Black Heart Boulevard was definitely my darkest album. I think I ended the song on Antidote. And that song for me is probably my darkest song I've come out with, you know, like that like the first line, closet full of bones on the floor since forever. All my skeletons can't hold their shit together. Like it was like I wasn't dealing with anything. And now I face them. I face everything that and I'm so much better. Like I can sleep good, you know what I mean? So yeah, to answer your question.
For your fans, how important is it to tackle those issues head on?
Well, speaking from myself, for myself, I'd say you definitely have to. I have to face them. You know, I have to face the music, because if you know, the Roosters are gonna come they're gonna come home, right. And if you just sweeping everything under the rug, eventually that shit's gonna seep. So for me, I definitely, you may not have to face it by yourself. That's the one thing I try to tell people. You're not in this alone. Like you're 100% not in this alone. Like you talk to someone, and the crazy thing that I'm quite, you know, I pride myself on is really my fan base. That's my biggest achievement, because people think I don't check my DMs. Not only do I check my DMs, but you have these kind of sub-communities within my community where fans have met within my comment section on Instagram, right. And now they've formed little DM groups. Yeah. I'll go through they're like Black Heart Gang Forever, like in the that's kind of like the headline of the group. Yeah. And I click in one of these, there's a lot. I scroll through my DMs, there's like all these groups, like hundreds of them. I click inside.
They put you in it.
I'm in the group. Obviously, I'm not replying, but I actually want them to know I read it. Yeah. And these messages, like I saw one the other day, they've been talking since like January 2019. Yeah. They've been kept this group alive, you know what I'm saying? Right, so that's like one thing that is my proudest thing, is my fan base. I love them to death, and I love the fact that we've grown together. Like, I've had fans who were like damn near my first 5 fans who are still riding today, you know? And now they got kids, and their kids are fans of mine. So it's crazy in that regard, yeah.
Kids got the clothing.
Yeah, the Black Heart merch, man, for sure.
How important did you think, because I realized...
Yeah.
from your passion. Your fan base is important too.
Yeah.
Did you think that they'll be so important when you started rapping at first? Did you think you'll have these core fans that you will touch? You knew that from the get-go?
Yes.
When did you notice?
Okay, well, firstly,
When did you know that?
did I know I'm going to be like saving people's lives? Like when people tell, no. I don't think anybody can guess that. But I definitely knew I want to be a hands-on artist.
Right.
I'm a very interpersonal person. And I always knew I wanted to have that like cult following. Like if you look at people like M, if you look at people like DMX, J, you look at the real MCs that come from a cloth of having that cult-like following. I knew I wanted to be that sort of artist, yeah, for sure. And I'd say very early on, probably as early as 2011, I knew that that's the sort of artist I want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Worked out, right?
Yeah.
It's working.
Hey,
Working out, right? Now, I know you mentioned a couple rappers that, you know, have that bass like that. Who touch people like that. So who influences your sound, though? Like, who would you say?
My sound? I'll say early on, because if you hear my music when I was like, you know, really just ground up, definitely Eminem, you can hear it. DMX, as far as like the shouting and emotion is in my voice.
Right.
Nowadays, I try not to listen to too much music.
Really?
When I'm like right now, I'm the pressure isn't there. When I'm in album mode, I'm not listening to anybody except myself because I listen to me to critique. So I listen to what I just recorded, what I can do better. Because one thing you have to understand as artists are not black and white people. Not everything. There's no rules in this game.
Right.
Everything it's there's so many shades of gray.
Okay.
And if you constantly listen to people, you don't realize that you're subconsciously taking from them. And it's good to take in a form of inspiration, but you don't want to be stealing melodies and whole ass like bars from like different artists and shit. So when I'm in album mode, I don't want to be like, oh shit, I just came up with the craziest melody, and then, you know, 1 week before it's about to drop, I hear the same melody, and so I'm like, oh,
sound like somebody else.
Yeah,
huh?
that's where I got that from, you know, because that happens. You don't realize you really, and I even hear it today, and I'm like, well, I know where he got that from. I know exactly where he took that from. You know what I mean? And I don't want to do that.
So you think that's another reason why your core fans stick with you? Because I see them. I see them in the comments. I see your fans, and nobody really. You're not stealing from nobody. It's all organic. It's all authentic.
I mean, for me, I've been working with the same creative partner, my producer, Tuna.
Right.
Me and Tuna Beats, we met on YouTube.
Shout out Tuna.
Shout out Tuna. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
8 years now. 8 years strong. You know, we did
Almost
Faith
a
Fade
decade.
Hope.
Yeah.
Then we did Black Heart Boulevard. Now we did Cabin Fever, and we still got like a whole vault full of like I got so many slaps like just sitting in the vault. I played a few for that, man, and the thing is, even though we just drop something, the work is always there. So him and I are very innovative, and we try our best to just experiment with different sounds. One thing that I love about this guy is he's obsessed with being just doing something that he's never done before. He's like, what if I take dubstep and trap hop and I mix this and I take a kick from here and a snare from here and he's always just trying to like make different sounds, and that indirectly gets passed on to me. So he's playing the chords, he's playing different sounds, and then I come up with an idea, and then that's how things are formed, you know.
So it's a match made, because I remember you said nobody could put pressure on yourself like him. And
actually, all right, I'll take that back. He definitely, I feel pressure from him just because he's not easily impressed.
Okay.
So I know when I've made songs that like, for him, like, he was just like, yeah, it's okay.
Right.
So I know when he makes that face, it's just like, ugh. Now I'm like, all right, I got one. So yeah, from him, I definitely feel pressure when I it's crazy. He's like my brother, but when I hit that play button on a new song, my heart is like, go, 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 go. I'm like, please like it, please like it.
Yeah. We all need somebody in our circle that, that ain't no yes man.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. Hey, and just to quote you on that, like, I have no yes men in my circle. Right. I refuse. Like, I actually have like a very small circle, and I don't have any yes men in there because you'll just drown in this industry. With the more success, more clout, the fame comes, you need those, you need your guys with you that's gonna just like be the same no matter what happens. That they're gonna check you. Hey man, that ain't cool that you did that. Hey man, don't say that to me. So that's gonna keep you leveled. Because bro, you get lost out here. I go to a show and you got like fans like literally just dying to meet you, crying, that if you're not careful, that will fuck with you. You really start getting like a god complex from this shit, because at the end of the day, your friends, you still, you know what I'm saying, that's just your guy, that's your dog that you came up with. If you let this shit get to your head, the minute you start treating the lady that works at the corner store differently to the president, that's when shit's gonna get. That's when you're fucked up, you know. So you gotta stay grounded, and I'm glad that I don't have a lot of yes men. I don't have any yes men in my circle. Yeah.
I know you said you don't have any yes men. We were talking earlier when you were starting out. You got with your songwriter homies.
Yeah.
They critiqued you a lot.
Yeah.
And they also helped you evolve as an artist.
So you're talking about how we were speaking about when I first went to LA and I moved in. Yeah.
They were songwriters. The difference was they were
actually like, they weren't rappers, you know. They were actual singer-songwriters in the pop industry.
And the thing, what your biggest song actually was like, some of your biggest songs were recorded in the closet, right? Does that give you a sense of like modest? Why you're modest now, you know? Sense of humility now?
I have no problem recording anywhere. Fucking man, like man, like people think like, oh, they come here, they see the car, they see the house, and they're like, oh shit, this guy's in this crazy I'll record in a closet now. I'll set up a booth right now in my storage room. I'll record some shit, you know what I mean? So for me, and I only stopped recording in the closet a year ago. The only reason me and Tuna upgraded to the studio is because we wanted to be in the same working ecosystem. Because if he's making a beat, I wanted to take that thing right then and there, go to my room, my studio, and record that shit. That's the only reason. But otherwise, bro, you know how many things I've recorded in closets and hotel rooms and tiny ass like basements and shit, like.
So the humility is still there, right? That's
100%. I don't think, man. I got an African mom. I don't think that thing's going anywhere.
Shout out to mom. She's a nurse too, by the way.
She's a nurse, she's a nurse, yeah.
She's doing good right now during this.
My mom, she retired this year, which I'm so glad for, because that's my everything, man. I've recorded plenty songs for her. I mean, my fans know how much she means to me. So, yeah.
You got a song on the project. Mama Was Right. Featuring Joya did.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with my mom. It was just the way that because we shout out Joey, man. That's the homegirl. We actually wrote that over FaceTime since during the lockdown and everything. But yeah, that has nothing to do with my mom. It's just that we're talking about, like, when your mom tells you that's not the sort of girl you should be dating. So I like playing with that notion.
It's a very dope song.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Definitely one of my favorites. Where's mom at right now? She's in Australia?
Who? Joey?
No, your mom.
Oh, my mom. She's in Australia.
She's in Australia. She's African, South African, right? So you guys were born. You were born in Africa. South Africa.
So I was born in South Africa till the age of 11.
Okay.
Mom being a nurse.
Okay.
She got recruited to work in a hospital in Australia.
Okay.
And my life changed overnight.
Really?
You go from damn near living in poverty to now, we couldn't even like afford hot chocolate in something simple like hot cocoa. We didn't have that shit growing up. Like there were days when
Even her as a nurse in South Africa.
Oh, they get paid nothing.
Really?
They get paid peanuts.
Really?
They get paid like, I mean, as it is, nurses around the world, they get paid peanuts, but nurses in Africa, they get that's like the bottom, you know what I mean? Bottom of the barrel salary. So we were gonna lose the house. Everything was just crumbling. My mom's borrowing food from my grandma. You know, where the electricity's going off, the water's getting turned up. My mom was borrowing hot water from the neighbors just to bathe us.
Right.
It was a crazy time in my life. So we moved to Australia, and overnight, my whole life, it's like I go from seeing and experiencing one normal to like just like you can damn near like we had like oatmeal for cereal, like which I love, but we weren't allowed to like buy the fancy shit. We couldn't get Fruit Loops or honey, cone, nut. Now I go to move to Australia, I can damn near get any like cereal I want. That was like crazy.
Yeah.
Man, first time I had Cocoa Pops was in Australia. That was like real crazy.
You remember it too, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, because I was 11. I wasn't that young, you know. But I am thankful for that upbringing because it made me appreciate everything I have right now so much more. So much more.
You go back to the motherland often?
Yes, I do. Because as you know, my brother, my sisters, my whole family is still living there. So South Africa for me is definitely, you know, that's something that will stick with me forever. I don't know if you can see right now, but my whole place is just Africa plastered everywhere.
True.
So
That is very true.
I'm very proud of my heritage. Go back 2-3 times a year to visit my family, and yeah.
Now, let's get into something that I wanted to hit on earlier. So, Blackheart Boulevard.
Yeah.
Right?
Second project.
Since it's dropped, total 80 million
80
streams
million,
and views. All independent. How's it feel, man? How's it feel just to have 100% ownership of all of that creative drive? I've seen you. I've heard about how you shoot your videos.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
I mean, well, there's two aspects to that. One, creative control is standard. That's not even, everyone should have that. I don't think any artist should not have creative control, period. And for me, when it comes down to ownership, right now, the situation the world in right now, I think we're seeing why it's so important. Ownership is so important to artists, you know, because right now no one can do shows, no one can go on tour, and that's how a lot of artists make their money, because they don't own the masters to their records, and because they don't own the masters to their records, the pandemic hit, my numbers went up, because everyone needs music, everyone needs to be at home listening, so all my numbers started going up, and other people, their numbers went up as well, but they weren't earning the fruits of that kind of increase. And I talk to up-and-coming artists a lot. I talk to them about this. I say to them, look, I know that right now if a record label flashes $1 million in your face and you know you damn near don't have anything, you're gonna be like, fuck, I want that right now. But it's better to get paid on the back end, because to get paid on the back end, yes, the climb is really slow, but it's just going to benefit you so much more if you own your music. Right. Now, in saying that, I know that this independent life is not for everybody. I know that not every single artist is built to want to be everywhere, to be behind the camera, or as well as being in front of it. I know that they also don't want to know how to engineer their own music, and I get it. Some artists just want to come, lay down their vocals and dip. Some of us want to come, shoot their videos and dip. For me, I needed to be involved in the whole process. Now, in saying that, I'm not anti-label. The deal just has to be correct. You know what I mean? I'm not naive to the fact that, yeah, right now I do own a whole grape, but I would much rather want like half a watermelon. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, I mean, I've taken meetings with labels, but you know, it's got to make sense for both of us. It's got to be the right situation where it's mutually beneficial for both of us. So that's where I sit with that. But ownership.
You had a lot of
Yeah.
You had a lot of meetings.
I've met with a few. You know, I've met with a few. They got that, you know, that label credit card, take you to nice restaurants, man. So I've had a few meetings. For me, I just feel like it's not the right time at the moment. I feel like it's a bit premature as far as signing a deal right now would be. I'm good where I'm at for the moment, and yeah, when it makes sense for both, if that's something I want to do at the time, I may never sign for the rest of my life, but the artist and the label, it needs to be like a partnership. It can't be this one-way street where they're just fucking, you know, taking everything. But so, yeah, if the right time arises and it makes sense and the timing is right, sure.
You from an early age, I know you started making music at 18, was it? No, that was your big song. That was your dad's song.
18 was like the time I started putting music out.
Right.
I'd always been, all through high school I was recording and writing. I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy. I just had this like stupid like Walmart like microphone. That was just like, it was like a gaming headset.
Hey, that comes in clutch, right? With the little cassette joint.
Yeah, it was like a gaming headset. Yeah. It looked like I was in a call center.
Yeah.
It literally looked like I'm recording a rap song and I got the call center headphones on, bro. And I mean, yeah, that's how I kind of built my craft up to a point where I was like, I think the world is ready for this. But yeah, 18 was when I put my first music out. Yeah.
So did you know then that you wanted to be independent? And if so,
no. Obviously, I actually had label meetings back then as well, and they didn't want me. I was like begging. I was like, please, Lord, please give me a record deal. Please let me sign. Oh my God, dear Lord, if you let me sign right now, I promise I'm gonna be this and I'm gonna be that. But I am so thankful I didn't, because had I signed back then, one, no creative control, and two, I wouldn't. The fact that they didn't want me forced me to learn how to do this shit by myself. Forced me to lock myself in the studio and learn how to record myself, engineer, mix my own shit. Like, it forced me to own my means of operation. And that right there is the single-handed most reason why today I am where I'm at. For that reason, I'm so thankful, because who knows where I'd be. You know, you get a lot of artists who sign early, label drops them, now they're drowning. They don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to run a studio session. They damn near don't even know what a Pro Tools session is. They just get lost and they drown. Whereas me, bruh, if I sign a record deal right now and the label doesn't want me, I'm chilling. I'm fine. This is like my everyday shit. Like I can literally go into any studio in the world and I'll run that whole thing. Just based off purely that I was thrown in the deep end very early, and I just had to learn that shit, you know what I mean? And that's why I tell every single artist I meet, fuck a studio. Don't go pay for no studio time. Set up your home studio when you're at home and perfect your craft.
Nice with it, huh?
And maybe it's probably gonna sound like doo-doo in the beginning, you know what I mean? Right. It's probably gonna be very bad, terrible, very terrible. Yeah. But eventually you're gonna go from terrible to horrible to pretty bad to bad, and then you're okay, and then eventually you're gonna have a really good quality product. Just because investing hours will beat investing money any day, hands down. Hands down. 10,000. Investing in your 10,000. Yeah. In fact, I believe you should invest 100,000. You know what I mean? Sacrifices. You need to make sacrifices. One thing I'll say is the artists around me growing up, they had a crazy, their songs sounded like it was radio ready. Right. And I couldn't afford to go to no studio or anything. But yeah, in the beginning it sounded trash, but now look at how it sounds, and it's still independently done. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So I think you know, you got to play that long game. As Nipsey says, the marathon continues. You got to play that long game, man.
For sure. R.I.P. Nip.
R.I.P.
So, like, even still, you being young today, like, who did you look up to, or who gave you the game on how to do this, do that?
Nobody.
You know,
nobody.
Really.
I typed it in on Google.
Yeah.
I literally just that's the thing, man.
In
today's your phone is. I don't understand how an artist is getting ripped off in 2020. Do not sign a deal until you have literally researched the ins and outs of everything. There is no reason. Information is free. Google is free, my guy. Right. You can go right now. I get artists tell, yo, how I get my song on Spotify. Fucking me, how you get your song on, bro? Type that shit in on Google, man. You will be surprised at the amount of resources that's available for free. For free? Come on, my guy. Come on, my guy.
Yeah.
I literally myself. I learned this shit by myself. I learned the business by myself. I didn't have someone like me putting me on game. So any artist watching this right now, they should like study this shit like it's a fucking Bible. Like 100%. Like right. They really should. I can't express to you enough how important it is to up your knowledge on when it comes down to this, you know?
Now, I will say this, though. Like, people will ask you questions. Well, I don't know about people, but I do think you'll tell them. I think you'll give them guidance because we talk, right? We have convos. And, sometimes we having a regular convo and then you just give me some advice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the type of dude that you are. So,
yeah.
And I saw one time that you said, like, you wanted to be a motivational speaker.
Right.
Is that still, like...
That's the end goal. I realized that, for example, I had a layover. My flight got delayed by 24 hours in London. So I got on Instagram, like, yo, I'm going to have a meet and greet. Anyone want to come? And, like, 30 kids just, like, pulled up within, like, 2 hours. Right. They just fucking came. And I sat down, and I realized, like... the gang, man. Shout out the gang. Blackheart in this bitch, man. So we sat down and we met in like this like train station coffee plaza. And we sitting there, and from the time they sat to the time they left, their spirits were like on another planet. Right. So I realized like my purpose was definitely I was put here to be a stepping stone for some people. I feel that. I really feel like if I have it in me to be able to project that sort of, if I'm gonna be that kind of leap for you, fuck yeah, let me do that. So I feel like I'll do this music thing, but at the same time, I would love to do motivational speaking. Right. I think that's something that will be my true calling.
TED Talk, BMIKE Talk.
Hey.
What'd you call it? Put you on the spot.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I definitely want to push the agenda and the mindset. I swear, I'm gonna make a movie or write a book on this one day. Become your number one fan. Right. Before anyone knows you, before you become anything, you decide, okay, I want to do this. I'm a number one fan. My shit's dope. Right. Become your number one fan first, and that's what I want to push. So in order to become your number one fan, you gotta love yourself. Like who's your favorite artist?
Myself.
Yourself? Hey! I see what you did there. I feel you. So yeah, but in order, if you're a fan of someone, you have to love what they do, which means you gotta love you before you can. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, in regards to the motivational talking, that's 100% what I feel like I'm gonna be doing.
You always believe that you can't. Maybe I noticed you can't fake energy.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You can't fake energy, and when you said like from the time that them kids came to like when they left, they spirit was lifted.
Yeah.
Like did that inspire you just to make another song? What did that do to you? Especially it was a short notice. It was a short notice pop-up too.
You know, for me, I'm not one of those artists that's in the club and they're out here, you know, at every function and you know, I do have a very small circle. You know, like I don't invite a lot of people into, I won't allow toxicity to kind of breed within what I've got going on here.
Right.
So I keep to myself a lot. So when I'm coming from the studio, getting on a plane and going somewhere, it's like I forget what I am. And like, you know, we're sitting here right now and we're cool and everything, and then someone will recognize me, or I'll have a meet and greet, a meetup, and it's like bananas. They're just like, oh my fucking holy shit. It's like, oh shit. I forgot that I'm this thing to some people. And it's honestly just humbling, man. It's humbling. I left there and I called my mom, and I was damn near like nearly in tears of joy, just sitting there telling her like the experience, because I didn't just motivate them, they told me their stories. And a fan of mine, man, shout out to her, she actually was like, I'm gonna have a baby in 2 months, do you mind autographing the bib? Wow. Can you sign the baby's bib? Like when she's born, this is what I want, she's gonna be wearing this. I'm like, for real? Like, so that to me, like, no amount of money can replace that feeling. So that's what it does for me. It's definitely, it just brings you down. Like, and then you start realizing that, you know, all this other shit, the cars, the money and all that, it doesn't matter. Love matters. I know it sounds cliche, but that is something that will live forever. I'll die one day, you'll die one day, but what you leave behind will stay forever. And I think that's the ultimate goal for me. Yeah.
You say you called your mama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I call her daily.
Hold on. Did you call her right then and there? Because I know that time zone. I know your mama was mad when you called her.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
She retired now, right?
Yeah, hey, man. Hey, that rap money got her living good. She'll answer the phone anytime. I've called her drunk in LA, forgetting about the time difference, hitting her up at 4 a.m., telling her I miss her. Yeah. She's like, Michael, do you know what the time is? But we'll still stay on the phone with me. If I need guidance, and I think she's really been that pillar for me through everything. That's my best friend. And
your mom got the Australian accent too?
No, she got that crazy like South African, you know. I moved when I was 11. She was like 40 something, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up. My mom is actually one of the sole reasons behind me taking the business side of music very, very seriously. Even growing up, I remember like I'd be showing her a song and I just put like all my energy into it, and I'm just expecting a crazy response. And she'd be like, all right, cool, do you own the beat? Yeah. And I'm like, well, no, but listen to the song. She's like, well, what does it matter if you don't own the beat? She's like, how are you going to get paid from it? It's not yours. And like straight off the bat, she made it imprudent to me. She drilled that into me. Ownership. Because if you don't have it, you're going to get screwed like what's-her-face. You're going to get screwed the same way he did. And she always said to me, make sure you own what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what you're making. Because that's the only way you're going to make it in this business. So, hey man, props to mom, man. She had me. She had me. She had me on that shit.
She had you. She have you. You know what I mean? She got your back. Always. Shout out to moms.
For sure.
In Australia. So what's next, man? What's next for BMIKE in the future? The direction of the Black Heart Gang. What's next, man? What you guys got in store?
Honestly, caught me with that one. Definitely just taking everything to a new level. Yeah. In every aspect. The music.
How many more levels you think you got?
A lot.
Word?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of levels. There's always room for improvement, and you can never learn enough, you know? Yeah. You can never be unteachable. Well, you should never be unteachable. Right. And that goes from everybody. Yeah, this person may not know as much about something than you know, but you can still learn from them. Right. You know, so I just take each day as it comes, and what's next is this tour, man, since, you know, my tour got cancelled. Okay. My North American tour. I was meant to be on tour for my birthday, so I was, it was a bit disheartening. Right. You know, it's going to be like my first headline North American tour. It's going to be crazy. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we have to cancel that, move it to 2021, but it's all good. It's coming. It's coming, definitely.
Revenge tour.
Yeah. But yeah, I think just new music, taking everything up a notch, and I'm just so excited to meet my fans, man. Once all of this is over, and we will get there for sure, for sure. I need I need to see the people, man. You know what I'm saying?
So, tap in.
Yep.
Tap in with the people.
That's definitely right.
All right, big dog. I'm glad that you invited me into your home.
Anytime, man.
Glad
Anytime.
that you took the time
Thank
out
you for coming, man.
to do this interview with us,
You're
my
welcome,
man.
man. Thank you.
And I can't wait till you release your new singles that you let me hear.
It's heat.
People. Yeah.
It's heat, man.
I agree. I said play it back.
All right, man. All right, play it, man.
All right, big dog. I'm gonna catch up with you.
Black hearted till the day I die. Till I motherfucking die, man.